Manchester United need to follow Paris Saint Germain transfer example to succeed in Champions League. PSG exposed the difference between the two teams. Asked on the eve of this game how big a misnomer was going to be for Paris Saint Germain, Thomas Tuchel turned the question on its head. How would United cope without Paul Pogba, or without Marcus Rashford, he asked, not unreasonably. The German was half right. Only United rely on so many first-team players who are clearly superior to their stand-ins that he could have named another 5 or 6 players. He could have named Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard. Both went down injured in the closing stages of a first half that United had edged, and both had to be replaced. Suddenly United were a different team. Shorn of 2 members of their own attacking triumvirate, they were a different team. They lacked energy and pace in the second half, and PSG sensed it. This was, ultimately, the difference between the two teams. While Neymar and Edinson Cavani could be replaced by players of the caliber of Angel Di Maria and Dani Alves, United had to bring on Juan Mata and Alexis Sanchez. While PSG have spent the last few years assembling a squad, United have spent it acquiring individuals, many of them flawed. The French champions may have been through several managers, but they have maintained a system with a sporting director and a strategy to build a squad. It's one United need to get in place ahead of the summer. Defensive problems. Attention will inevitably focus on the 2 attacking injuries that cost United so dearly going forward, but the issues they have in defense were exposed by Paris Saint Germain in the second half. Nemanja Matic, excellent in the first half, was caught flat-footed as Pascal Kimpembe raced beyond him for the opener, while Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof were beaten by Kylian Mbappe for the second. Defending against Mbappe was an issue for United throughout. Who partners Lindelof was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's only real selection issue for this fixture, and he went with Bailly, perhaps valuing his pace against the electric Mbappe. But Bailly's decision-making often means he has to use that pace, and on a couple of occasions he sought to win the ball against Mbappe high up the pitch when that was never really an option. As United sought to get back in the game, their defense was exposed, and it was only the heroics of David De Gea that kept them in the game. De Gea v Buffon in April last year. Gianluigi Buffon, winding down his career in his final season at Juventus, or so we thought, named the 5 goalkeepers in contention to take his mantle as the best in the world. Jan Oblak, Keylor Navas, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Ederson, Manuel Neuer and Thibaut Courtois were there, but David De Gea was not. Even at 41 and with 128 Champions League appearances to your name, you can be struck by nerves, however, and Buffon's early kicking as United piled on the pressure was particularly poor. Unfortunately for United, it was De Gea who was given the opportunity to show just how good he is. He made 2 excellent second-half saves to keep PSG to 2 goals. United will hope they prove to be crucial. The Pogba problem. This was a night Pogba had been waiting for. Benched for both legs of the Sevilla game last season, he was still to make his mark on a big Champions League occasion at United. He spoke in the program about how he'd been in the crowd in 2010 when United beat AC Milan 4-0 to overturn a 3-2 first-leg deficit. He was no doubt dreaming of that kind of night. If only. There was one marauding run in the first half, but aside from that he was on the fringes of this game, unable to dominate to the extent he had in the Premier League recently. As a result, the frustrating grew. He was booked in the first half, more for a build-up of infringements, and then received his second booking late on, again for an unnecessary challenge. It wasn't the kind of influence he envisaged on this game. Di Maria, his first involvement, was greeted with jeers at Old Trafford, quickly followed by cheers as Ashley Young forced him to concede possession, a pattern then continued when Matic effortlessly ran round him to take the ball in the early stages. Di Maria was often a passive presence in his 15 appearances at Old Trafford in a red shirt, but he showed he can get angry when Ashley Young unceremoniously nudged him into the fencing just before half-time. The Argentine received treatment, and when he returned to the pitch he was booed again, but twice put his finger to his ear and told Old Trafford to turn the volume up. It was perhaps the biggest show of character he's produced on this ground. It seemed to fire him up as well. Having been anonymous for the first half, he returned with a point to prove, sending in the corner from which Pascal Kimpembe scored and looking to get on the ball and run at the United defense with every opportunity he had.